Well, now I am done talking and we're going to practice. Let's start by elaborating our first automated test scripts. And for that, I will use the site Inove Teste. In particular, the contact menu, so that we can generate 3 scripts. One to validate the layout of the form, another to validate the receive flow, would be the criticism of fields, and also the mainstream, which would send the message. Then you will see now here how it works in practice, the Selenium IDE. I'm going to access here my Firefox. I already have the Selenium IDE open. Remember that you can lessen it here. You can move a little more here without a problem. And how it works. The first thing to do is you turn on the recorder option. When you click this button, and it is like this selected, means any interaction you have with the browser, which in the case is Firefox, Selenium will capture this action and will describe here in this area of the source code. So as soon as you turn on the recorder, the first thing to be done is to access the site which will be tested, which in the case we choose this, that is the livros.inoveteste.com.br/contato. I'm going to press enter. And note that Selenium has not yet captured access to the site, because I have not yet made any interaction with the screen. Only when I do the first interaction is that it will catch access to the page. The first test case will then validate the screen layout. So just to show you here, I'm going to click with the right button on top of the animated test case, and I will click Properties. I will tell the name of my scenario, remembering that by good practice is advised to use the prefix CT preceded by the number of the test case. How does it? My first one I will put here CT01, and then the name of the test scenario. All together. Okay? No room. So I will put here validate layout. Right, validate layout. I will give OK. We already have our first test case, and now I'm going to take the action. As I want to validate the layout, I will use only the assert comments. The assert comments, as you can see here, I go here in comments. The Selenium IDE has a huge list of comments, and among them we have this one, which is the assert. This command serves to validate the elements, knowing if the element is present, whether the element has a certain value, know if the element is marked, is a check command of an element state. We will use the context menu to make this capture. The first thing is to check the title of the page. Then I click right here on the title. That is send a message, and I choose the Assert Text option. Just click here. That is. The Selenium picked up the text of that my element here, which is being mapped by the CS selector. As it has no ID and name, the Selenium ends up picking up by CSS selector. This command here that is generates automatically, it serves me to focus on the screen, but it does not come to be useful. Then it can be deleted. Note that Selenium ended up not including the open command, which is the command to be able to access the site and so validate my layout. He didn't do it because I just didn't click a button or just fill out a field. I just used the context menu for this. That's why Selenium didn't assign this command. So in the view, need to add here by right-clicking and choosing Insert New Command. When this space comes up here, I'm going to fill it here by selecting the Open Command. And placing the target as /contact. What's supposed to mean? The Selenium will be given open based on the base URL that it captures automatically. That's the site liros.inoveteste.com.br, and will assign the contact directory so that it can be accessed, the contact form of the site. I will give it 2 clicks just to simulate and see if it's actually accessing in a way correct. Okay, accessed correctly. So continue. I will map here and the other elements. Another important element to check if it exists on the screen would be the fields themselves. So I'm going to click here with the right button on top of the name field, and instead of putting assert test or something of the sort, I will select this command, which is assert element present. Namely, I want to check if really the element is present on the screen. I will click on it and repeat the procedure for the other fields. Including the submit button itself. Ready. Here's my first properly automated test scenario. So I'm just going to save it. Incidentally, before saving it, I can run it to see if everything is okay, and so I can save it. Never save before verifying that the script is actually working correctly. So I'm going to adjust the speed of execution to slow so you run at a reasonable speed and so the test won't break. I am going to take a play 1 so I can run this case. Let's see how it behaves. Accessed the site, validate the title, and is now validating the presence of the elements. It made a mistake here because I had a blank space. Let's run it again. Accessed the site, validate the title, and now validating the presence of the fields. Okay, now it is gone. Well, actually, before I save, I'm going to create the next script. Right-click that region and choose New Test. Following the same pattern, I will put CT02 validate criticism required fields. Remember that apart from being altogether, it is advisable not to put accentuation in the words. And in my case test, I will validate the criticism of the fields when trying to send the message. Taking advantage of my first test case, I can leverage this command. I click on it, squeeze Ctrl+C and access my new test case. I can give a Ctrl+V that it pastes the same command. Then after accessing the site, I will simulate a click on the submit button without filling in the fields. So I'm going to enable my recordings and I'll click the button. Note that the Selenium recognized this action. Click the button. And after a certain time, I will ask to validate the required fields. But before, I will assign a pause command around 7 seconds. That was more or less the wait time for the server to respond with this criticism. Remembering that seconds are only reported in the milliseconds format, so 1000 milliseconds are a second. So, as I want the 7 seconds, I put 7000 milliseconds. In the next line below, I will now map this criticism. I will also use the assert command over them. I will click the button right in each criticism and I will select it assert test for each one. Okay, our reverse mapped. I'm going to run this test again. I'm shutting down my recorder, and now I'm going to rerun the test to see if it's meeting the requirements. Here he accessed the site. Clicked on the button. However, by the fact that the server takes more than 7 seconds to respond, it ended up breaking. So let's increase our pause here in 10 seconds. In fact, save the note. This will stay for the next class. Let's run again. I made this change. I'm going to play it again. Let's go to 17 minutes of class. Accessed the site, clicked the submit button. It will wait for seconds. It is validating the reviews. Okay, another test case passed. And lastly, I will create here a new test case that is the main string that is the send message. So I will put here CT03 send message, and I will give OK. And I can do the same thing. I can copy the first command from the previous test case and paste it into my new. Good. In this test case, I will simply fill in the field and immediately after clicking send, wait and validate the sending message successfully. Then this will use the type command, which is the command to fill in the fields, but whoever will do that is our own recorder. So simply I will enable it. And after accessing the site, I will fill in the fields. I'm going to put my name on it, my mail, the subject, and the message. Good. If you repair, the Selenium has captured all of these input actions in the fields. So he captured by informing my name, my email, my subject, and the message, using the type command. Finally, I'm going to click the send button, wait for deadline, the waiting time, better saying, and I will validate my success message using assert text. Here I will put a waiting time. I will insert new command, pause, here, and I will also put some 10 seconds. Let's replay this scenario again. Well, accessed the site. And now start filling in the fields and click the Submit button. It will wait for up to 10 seconds to validate the success message. Well, the message ended up fine after 10 seconds. That is why the mistake happened. I'm going to put here 12 seconds. And I will reproduce it again. In fact, put 15 seconds to make it more secure. I will reproduce it again. Access to the site, begins to fill the fields, click the send button, and is now waiting for 15 seconds time. And validated the success message. Another test can run successfully. And to finalize the video lesson, an interesting thing to be done in your scripts would be the comments. The comments help you identify what your script is doing in each snippet. To do this, simply right-click on the command you want, then click New Command. A line will appear above the command where you can enter a comment. So the first thing that is done is access with the site. After accessing the site, alias accesses the Inove Teste site contact page. The more you detail, the better. Then here, at that point, validate the layout of the contact form. Or rather, do not need to use an infinitive format. We can use access the page, validate the layout, that is better. Repeating also in the other cases of test, here I can also copy the comment with Ctrl+C and paste with Ctrl+V. Here, hold click, new comment. Click the submit button without filling the fields. And from here, I put valid the criticism of required fields. Here on the third, we will also comment accesses the contact page, and then fill all fields contact. At this point, click the send button, and from that point here, validates the send success message. Ready. So we have here our 3 tests working perfectly and all duly commented. In the next video lesson, I will show you how to save these scripts. A hug, and until then.